All right, Josh Smith here, Flat 5 Studios. Today I'm going to start what I hope will be a new series of videos for YouTube where I'm going to talk about my top 5 in a lot of different subjects. Top 5 licks by an artist, top 5 songs, top 5 techniques, top 5 pedals in a category, top 5 all sorts of shit. So today, to kick it off, I'm going to do my top 5 Steve Cropper parts and performances. Steve, of course, the legend behind all the guitar on Stax Records. So we're talking about Otis Redding, Wilson Pickett, Sam and Dave. He's, of course, a member of Booker T and the MGs, Albert King. I mean, all the Eddie Floyd, all the Stax Records, amazing stuff. Steve is responsible for the guitar. Also arranged a lot of it, and he wrote a lot of it. He wrote Sitting on the Dock of the Bay and many, many other songs. So Steve, a genius that you need to check out if you're not familiar. One of my biggest influences. Not just on rhythm guitar and guitar in general. He really had his own style, and he created something by merging together improv, solo, and lick type stuff with rhythm guitar playing, and kind of being a one-man wrecking crew, just all the guitar parts in one. He comped parts together, and he came up with a style all his own. Just a genius guitar player. And where do you start if you're going to talk about Steve Cropper? Number one has to be Green Onions, right? Their biggest hit with Booker T and the MGs, which was the house band at Stax. This was their instrumental offshoot where they had their own hits and records. And of course, Green Onions starts with Booker T playing them on the organ. And Steve plays a brilliant part against that on the ups, right before the one, the end of one, the end of four before the one. And it's brilliant. So he's playing this little pull-off / stab. And when it goes to the 4, and the 5, super simple part, right? But brilliant in the way that he didn't just play. He kind of changed the time up, and he accented what Booker T was doing on the organ. Really simple. So then the second verse, he stops the chanks, and he doubles the bass line, and he just plays. Simple, right? But just the right part. This was a huge hit, an instrumental song that was a giant hit, and it was kind of the beginning of the Booker T and the MGs kind of lore, So you have to start with Green Onions when you're talking about Steve Cropper. He also takes a burning solo, which we won't even talk about because we're just going to talk about his parts and his great rhythm guitar. Number 2 for me would be Time Is Tight. You've all probably heard this song, maybe in the Blues Brothers soundtrack, I don't know. And I'm going to try not to play it verbatim so I don't get nicked by the copyright police. But it has this really cool open string thing. It's double stops with a cool harmony in it, and it sounds like this in the key of C. Right? So that's the main riff, that little bounce. Then it goes to the 4. So cool, right? When it gets to the 5, he just plays chanks. So great. Just great. And then he takes over with a really cool rhythm / melody that goes like this. He changes pickups and it goes. Right, and then on the 4. So great. And then back to the 5. So great. So that's G, D, G. Oh, I love Time Is Tight. Just a classic. That would be number 2 on my list. What about number 3? Oh, to me, now you got to get into Otis Redding world. And we could go cliche. We could go with Sam and Dave. Soul Man. I'm not going to play Soul Man, even though how brilliant is it? That's all I'm going to play so we don't get nicked. My number 3 would be Otis Redding, Nobody's Fault But Mine. It's in the key of E. It's kind of a rocker. Al Jackson drums on it are incredible, as they are on every song. But Steve starts it off very bluesy with this. Such a simple bluesy part, but genius. I love it. I love it. So then it goes into this horn, ba-da, ba-da, da, 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 and he just plays quarter note shanks. Then the verse goes. Oh, so genius. Then the bridge goes to the 5. Just genius stuff. Nobody's Fault But Mine, Otis Redding. If you've never heard that one, prepare to get your mind blown by Steve Cropper and Al Jackson. And of course, Otis Redding crushing the vocal. Number 4 for me would be Steve's playing on a ballad like Otis Redding's That's How Strong My Love Is, which is just a classic. He starts it off on the 5 like. Such a great part. He plays that Chanks on the 1 and then double stop. And that's so cool. He's playing 1, double stop for the 5, and then playing this little 4-1. And that walk up. Then when it gets to the chorus, it's the same chords, but he just plays straight. Yeah, then when they get to the bridge, it goes 6 minor, and you can hear his 5 royales influence and also like Sam Cooke type stuff. Oh, so good in the key of B flat. That's How Strong My Love Is. Man, Otis Redding. So that was number 4. Number 5 has to be Sam and Dave, Soothe Me. You've probably heard me talk about it before, but I think it's some of the best Telecaster tone ever and some of the best parts ever. Plus, it's a shuffle. So, it ticks all my boxes. It's, man, just magical stuff. It's in the key of B flat as well, and it goes like this. so good. Oh, those little fills. So good. And he plays this. So good. That's kind of the verse feel. Amazing stuff. This is actually the whole verse. So good. It's just genius stuff. Then they take it up a half step and he preemptively changes keys by. Then we're into B there. Soothe Me. So if you want to learn Steve Cropper stuff, check out Green Onions, Time is Tight, Nobody's Fault But Mine. That's How Strong My Love Is. And of course, Soothe Me by Sam and Dave. And then dive in even further. Learn more Sam and Dave. Learn more Otis Redding. Learn all of it. Learn Eddie Floyd, Wilson Pickett. Learn Booker T and the MGs. Steve was a legend, still is a legend. I met him once. He was incredibly sweet, and I told him how important he was to me. I'm sure he hears that all the time. But definitely one of a kind and one of my biggest inspirations on rhythm guitar and guitar in general. And that's my top 5 Steve Cropper parts and licks, and look for another top 5 next week. Ruling.